Assalamu alaikum everyone, I am Noor Zainab and in this video we are going to study some of the most important laws of logarithms. Basically, a logarithm tells us that how many times we have to multiply the base to get a number. For example, here log of a number b means that how many times we have to multiply a, where a is the base, to get a number x. Let's suppose we have to find the log of 8 with base 2. It means that how many times we have to multiply 2 to get 8. And the answer is 3, because if we multiply 2 3 times, we get the answer 8. Remember that a logarithm asks a question that how many times we have to multiply the base to get the number. So let's start the laws of logarithms. The first law of logarithm is also known as the product rule, and in this rule multiplication is turned into addition. Basically, this law states that the logarithm of a product or multiplication of two logarithms is equal to the sum of the logarithms of each factor. It means that when you take the log of two numbers that are being multiplied together, in this case m is multiplied with n, you can split it into the addition of the logs of those individual numbers. So here m and n are two factors which are multiplied with each other and we are taking their log. Here you can notice that the base of the logarithm, which is a, remains constant. Here m and n are factors, so we can say that the logarithm of the product of two factors is equal to the addition of the log of both the factors. For easier understanding, let's solve an example. Let's suppose we have to find the logarithm of 3 times 2 with the base a. The log of 3 multiplied with 2 can also be written separately by adding the log of 3 with log of 2, both having the same base a. Both the factors 3 and 2 are added with the same base a. Similarly, now if we solve an example with the base 10, let's suppose we multiply 100 with 1000. We can write it separately with the same base 10 and adding both the logarithms. And if we solve this side of the equation, 100 multiplied with 1000 gives us 10,000. The right side of the equation, we can see that the log of 100 with base 10 means that how many times we have to multiply 10 to get 100, and it is 2. And here log of 1000 with base 10 means that how many times we have to multiply 10 to get 1000. The answer is 3. So if we add 3 and 2, we get 5. And if we notice here that the log of 10,000 with base 10 is also 5. So we can see that both the sides of the equations are same. Now let's discuss the second law of logarithms, and it is the quotient rule. Quotient basically means division. So basically in this rule, division is turned into subtraction. We can say that the logarithm of a quotient or division is equal to the logarithm of the numerator minus the logarithm of the denominator. Here, if we are taking log of a division or a quotient, m is the numerator, which is on the upper side, and n is the denominator, which is on the lower side of the division. So we can find the logarithm of this quotient or division with the base a by simply taking the log of the numerator. Here m is the numerator, and subtracting it from the log of the denominator. Here n is the denominator. Let's suppose you have to find the log of 3 by 2, which is the quotient. Here 3 is the numerator and 2 is the denominator. So in order to solve this, simply we have to split it into two logarithms. One is the log of the numerator, which is log 3, and log of the denominator, here 2 is the denominator. So simply by subtracting it, we get our answer. So if we have to find the log with the base 10 of 1000 divided by 100, we can write it individually, both the logs of the numerator and the denominator, and subtracting them. So here you can see that if we divide 1000 with 100, we get 10. And here the log of 1000 with base 10 means how many times we have to multiply 10 to get 1000, and it is 3. And similarly, log of 100 can be written as 2. Here you can see that the log of 10 with base 10 means how many times we have to multiply 10 to get 10, and the answer is 1. And here 3 subtracted with 2 also gives us 1. So both the answers are same. Now let's discuss the third rule of logarithms, and this is the power rule, where exponents move to the front of the logarithm. If the number inside the log is raised to an exponent, you can move this exponent out to the front and multiply the whole log with it. We can say that the logarithm of m with a rational exponent. Rational exponent means that the exponent must be a rational number. A rational number is a number which can be written in the form of p by q, where p and q both are integers. So the logarithm of m with a rational exponent n is equal to exponent times the log of the number. For example, we have to find the log of 3 where the base of the logarithm is a and 3 is raised to power 2. So simply in order to solve this, we can bring 2 in the front and hence the remaining logarithm remains same. Furthermore, let's suppose we have to find the log of a number 100 which is raised to power 3 and the base of the logarithm is 10. So in order to solve this, we have to bring 3 to the front. So we are multiplying 3 with the log of 100 with the base 10. So here you can see that the log of 100 with base 10 means how many times we have to multiply 10 to get 100, and the answer is 2 times. So here we can multiply 3 with 2, and so the log of 100 raised to power 3 with base 10 is equal to 6. Sometimes we get a logarithm with a base that is not present on our calculator. Most of the calculators only have buttons for bases for the log 10 and the log base e, which is a natural log. So if we have to find the log of a number whose base is neither 10 nor e, so how can we find this? So let's suppose if you have to find the log of 8 with base 2. So you don't have the base 2 logarithm on your calculator. So in order to solve this problem, we have the most important law of logarithm and the fourth law which we are going to discuss. This is known as the change of base law. So this rule states that you can change the base a into any base you want, usually 10 or e, which is the natural number, because these are present in the calculator and are easier to solve. Let's suppose you have to find log of a number m, but the base is a and this a is not present on our calculator. So in order to solve this logarithm with the base a which is not present on our calculator, we can convert this base a into a base which is present in our calculator. Let's suppose we have to convert this base a into base b. So what we are going to do is that we will divide log with base b with the log of base b, but we are taking log of the number on the numerator, whereas in the denominator we will be taking log with the base b of the number which we are changing, which is the a. So simply we can say that in order to change the base a into base b, what we have to do is that we will take log of m and the log of a, and we have to divide both of them, but the base should be the new base. The previous base was a and the new base is b. In this way, you can easily convert the log of one base into a new base. So in easy words, we can say that in order to change the base of any logarithm, you have to divide logs, the log of the number and the log of the base. So let's suppose we're finding log of 125 and the base is 5. In order to convert this base 5 into base 10, what we are going to do is that we will take log with the base 10 and divide it with the log with the base 10. We are taking log of the number in the numerator and the log of the base, previous base, in the denominator. We have converted the log of a number to 125, which was having base 5, into a new base which is 10, simply by dividing the log of 125 with the log of 5, but the base we are taking is 10, which is the new base. So now let's discuss the next rule, which is the log of 1. Whatever base you take, whether it is 10 or the natural number, the log of 1, or which is also known as unit, is always 0. So here the base is a and we're taking log of 1 and its answer is always 0. This is because any number which is raised to power 0 always equals to 1. Basically, logarithm tells us how many times we have to multiply the base a. Here a is the base, and in exponential form you can also see that a is the base. It means that if we multiply a 0 times, we get the answer 1. Same to same we are saying in the exponential equation, a is multiplied 0 times, the answer is 1. For example, if we are taking log of 1 but the base is 5, so we can say that the answer is 0. And now let's discuss the next rule of logarithms, that if we take the log of a base itself. So if we are taking the log of the base itself, the answer is always 1. As in the exponential form, we can clearly see that if the base is raised to power 1, the answer is the same number. So if we take the log with base a and we are taking the log of the same base a, the answer will always be 1. For example, let's suppose you have to find the log of 10 and the base is also 10. So the answer of this log will be 1, because 10 raised to power 1 is equals to 10. So here we are taking the addition of two separate logarithms and we have to find the answer. So in order to solve this question, we have to apply the first law of the logarithms, which states that in order to find the log of numbers which are multiplied, we have to take the log of both the numbers separately and then add them. So by applying the first law of logarithm order to solve this question, what we can say that if both of the logs are added, we can turn them into multiplication and the base should remain same and the numbers are multiplied. 8 into 4 gives us 32 with the base is same and it is 2. And the log of 32, let's suppose we put the log of 32 into an unknown number which is x. We can convert this logarithmic equation into the exponential equation. It means that how many times we have to multiply 2 to get the number 32. So we can write it to how many times should we multiply 2, which is the number x, so that we get the answer 32. And the answer is 5 because if you multiply 2 5 times, we get the answer 32. So the answer of this whole logarithm is 5. Simply what we did is that we applied the first law of logarithm by converting the positive sign into the multiplication sign. Then we converted this logarithmic form into the exponential form and we got our answer which is 5. So if you found this video helpful, like, share and subscribe to my channel for more videos. And if you have any questions, you can ask in the comment section.